Welcome to college basketball 88 on USA. Tulsa's J.D. Barnett has worked his way through the current season with a talented but inexperienced team. One bright spot has been the board play of Ray Wingard, a big man who can dominate underneath. But Tulsa's main threat is the number 2 all-time Hurricane scorer, Tracy Moore. What me worry, says Bradley Stanalbeck, not when he has a gentleman by the name of Hersey Hawkins wearing Brave colors. With each game, he continues to show why he is one of the finest all-around players in the game. His 63 points at Detroit added another saga to the Hersey Hawkins story. Tulsa played Hersey and Bradley on USA. And tonight we're at the home of the Braves in Peoria at Carver Arena downtown. It's a key game in the Missouri Valley Conference with the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa on the road against the Bradley Braves. And good evening, I'm Bob Carpenter. Welcome to college basketball on USA. Tulsa has lost 12 straight road games, 10 of them this season. Not a good place to try to break a streak like that here this evening against a Bradley team that is challenging Wichita right now for the Missouri Valley Conference title. They could wrap it up with a win here tonight and another one over the weekend. Jack Rowan, when these two teams met on January 30th, Tulsa did the best job of any team in the nation stopping Hersey Hawkins. How will they try to duplicate that again tonight?
Well, Bob, they're going to go with the same concept, and that is go with Lloyd against him. But, you know, any time you play Bradley, you're looking at a game within a game. Obviously, both teams want to win. But the fans, everybody involved in the game is thinking, how is Hersey Hawkins going to do? One way, of course, how do you stop him? Teams have tried all sorts of defenses, but primarily, Tulsa feels go at him with a top defensive player, in that case is Lloyd. Bradley, of course, interesting, Bob. Let's watch to see all the things they do to get him the ball.
As we talked about earlier, this Bradley team is a multifaceted basketball team. The great assist man in Anthony Manuel, 12 assists per game. Hersey Hawkins with all that scoring. But inside strength as well with guys like Luke Jackson and a great shot blocker in Donald Powell.
That's right. Jackson, watch Jackson. He'll get the ball off the backboard, pitch it out, sometimes be second man. A 6'9" who can run, tremendous asset.
And when Tulsa makes a basket, look for Bradley to be back down the floor in a hurry. They get it out of the hoop and to midcourt as quickly as anybody in the country. So we're at the home of Hersey Hawkins and the Bradley Braves. We'll meet the Braves and the Hurricane in just a moment.
These days, you gotta stay on top of things, because times have changed. This small pickup, the Ford Ranger, now outsells Toyota. And what's more, Ranger has more features and a lower sticker price than Toyota. Features like tachometer, interval wipers, and light group. Plus, Ranger's got a fuel-injected engine. And to top it off, Ranger has a 6-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. Toyota doesn't. Sorry to burst your bubble, Toyota, but Ranger's on top now.
Now, during Ford's Leadership Celebration, get a $500 cash bonus on Ranger.
This plant could have employed a lot of people. It could have helped us compete in foreign markets. But like 95% of the mid-sized companies in America, the company that wanted to build this plant couldn't get the bond rating it needed. So it couldn't afford to raise the capital it needed to grow. Or for that matter, survive. Since 1977, more than 350 companies have been able to fund their growth with the help of high-yield bonds financed by Drexel Burnham. Today, those companies employ over 2 million people, proof that innovative thinking is not just good for business, but for everyone. Drexel Burnham, helping people manage change.
Dentine is so snappy and tingly, when you bite it, it bites you back. Same great tasting tingle freshens your breath. Dentine, the gum that bites you back.
Welcome back to Carver Arena, Peoria, Illinois for college basketball on USA. Tonight's game brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Drexel Burnham, helping people manage change. And by Dentine. When you bite Dentine, that snappy flavor bites you back and that tingle freshens your breath. Dentine, the gum that bites you back. Tonight marks the 80th time these two teams get together, and it's been an offensive series over the years. In the ball games between Bradley and Tulsa, Bradley leads the series 53-26, and the average score has been Bradley 84, Tulsa 79, if you put all the points together over the years. The great Hersey Hawkins has certainly contributed to that the last 4 years. They're introducing the seniors here and their families. And, Jack, it has been a very interesting series, and normally one that decides the Missouri Valley Conference race. Maybe not so here tonight from the standpoint of both teams, but a big one for Bradley anyway. Let's get to the intros, and here's the PA man in Peoria, Paul Herzog.
Welcome to Carver Arena in Peoria, Illinois for tonight's Missouri Valley Conference game featuring the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa and your Bradley Braves. Here's the lineups for Tulsa, 6'5" forward, a sophomore from Chicago, 33, Wade Jenkins. And for Bradley, 6'7" senior from Havana, Illinois, number 40, Trevor Trimpe. Tulsa forward, a 6'5" freshman from Phoenix, Arizona, 23, Michael Scott. And for Bradley, a 6'6" senior from Chicago, 32, Greg Jones. At center for the Golden Hurricane, a 6'8" junior from Atlanta, Georgia, number 50, Ray Wingard. And for Bradley, a 6'8" sophomore from Springfield, Illinois, 53, Luke Jackson. And a guard for Tulsa, 6'3" sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana, 34, Brian Lloyd. And for Bradley, a 5'11" junior from Chicago, number 12, Anthony Manuel. Guard, a 6'4" senior from Oklahoma City, 35, Tracy Moore. And for Bradley, a 6'3" senior from Chicago, All-American, 33, Hersey Hawkins. Head coaches for Tulsa in his third season,
J.D. Barnett had some good years at Virginia Commonwealth, 5 NCAAs there in 6 years. He replaced Nolan Richardson, who, of course, went to Arkansas, and the smiling Stan Albeck in his second year here, his alma mater. Previously coached in the college ranks at the University of Denver, 7 years in the NBA, and he is relaxed here in Peoria. The tip-off is next, Tulsa and Bradley.
How y'all are? You know me, I've been cooking and eating real Cajun food longer than my belly stomach is wide, and that's a fact. So when I told you you're gonna like Cajun Spice Ruffled potato chip more better than them other Cajun potato chips, I'm not just whistling Dixie, no. I'm singing you a Bayou Serenade, I guarantee.
Only Cajun Spice-flavored Ruffles brand potato chips have those spicy Ruffles ridges, so the taste won't leave you flat.
When the evening breeze whispers through the trees.
Soar beyond your expectations. Today, the Prudential can show you a new world of financial opportunities. Look to the Rock for stocks and bonds, mutual funds. Feel its strength in CDs, insurance, and mortgages. With the right choices, the right guidance, you can move mountains. The Prudential, your rock in financial services.
Disappointing season for Tulsa so far, 8-17, 4-8 in the Missouri Valley. Bradley, 20-4, 9-2 in Valley play in a virtual tie with Wichita. Lloyd against Hawkins is the key matchup tonight. Brian Lloyd, not a great offensive player, but at 6'3" with good quickness, very good defensively against a quick offensive player, Hersey Hawkins. Jim Bain is one of the officials tonight. He's been involved in a lot of Big 8 controversy with Oklahoma State coach Leonard Hamilton lately. He's on your left. Ed Hightower in the middle, and Tom O'Neill, the officiating crew in this Missouri Valley game tonight. Hersey Hawkins has the opening tip after it was controlled by the Braves. Down deep to Jackson. Out on top, Trimpe for Manuel. Tulsa opening up in a man-to-man. That is J.D. Barnett's forte. Jackson for Trimpe. High post, dump for Manuel from Luke Jackson. Watching him is Michael Scott. Bradley has it taken away. Here's Lloyd going coast to coast for an easy 2. And the man in there to play defense does just that. Although not on Hersey Hawkins that time, but he got the steal off someone else. Away from the ball, a foul on Lloyd. He was grabbing Hawkins as Hersey was crisscrossing the paint down along the baseline.
Quite often in a game like this, it depends upon how the officials view your attempt to stop your man from getting the basketball. Obviously, all eyes are on Hawkins.
Trevor Trimpe, nice tall guy to inbound it at 6'7". Trevor played some point guard for this team last year. He throws it in for Jackson. Manuel. Hawkins working off tips down low. They'll post up Jackson and Powell and let him work off those. That's similar to the offense Tracy Moore will be running for Tulsa tonight. He has the basketball, the second all-time leading scorer for the Hurricane. Steve Harris now in the NBA with Golden State as number 1, and Tracy promptly dribbled it off his foot for a turnover. Manuel for 3. Trimpe skying. Long rebound comes out. Anthony Manuel has it again. Trevor Trimpe's a good three-point shooter. But Bradley cold so far. Brian Lloyd came up with a loose ball.
Bradley has the additional tension in this game of fighting for first place in the league.
They have a record of 9-2. Wichita is 10-3. So a virtual tie, though Bradley does have a game in the loss column. Stan Ulbeck, 17-12 a year ago. Team could not go to postseason play, at least after the Valley tournament. Here's Moore for Lloyd on top to Michael Scott. The Sarge, Ray Wingard for Jenkins, and he turned it over before he put it to the floor. As is the case in many arenas, the folks here in Peoria stand until their team scores. And that's the man that usually sits them down. Hersey Hawkins for 3. He shoots 37% from that range. Bradley on top by a point, 2 minutes in. Tracy Moore back to Jenkins. Luke Jackson averaging 7 boards a game with that one. Greg Jones off the glass up high. A 6'5" senior from Chicago averaging 4 a game. And it's 5-2, Bradley. We just saw how quickly Jack Dagan put 5 points on the board.
They have absolutely no fear of getting the ball in the air. They're a relaxed team.
Lloyd down deep for Wingard. Air ball, foul on the baseline against Bradley.
One of the problems that Tulsa has experienced so far this year is that they are not a good shooting team. And that was obvious in that last shot. Wingard had an easy shot, but he just really did not shoot with confidence.
Tulsa shooting 44% on the year. They have improved it to 46 in conference play. Bradley shooting 48% in the Missouri Valley, but 50% overall on the season. Lloyd down deep for Wingard. Stripped to the ball by Luke Jackson. Manuel keys the running Braves. That was a 2-pointer. Manuel averages 13, and Bradley scored 7 straight after Lloyd's steal and jam. Tracy Moore works through the trap. He misses badly. 3 Tulsa players after the rebound, and Luke Jackson commits the foul.
It appears that Bradley is a much better running team than Tulsa, and Tulsa is right now playing the exact same game as Bradley. This could be a disaster for them.
Here we go.
J.D. Barnett is not a running coach. He's a defense coach. Likes to work the ball around, gets a good shot. Tulsa has to do that with their young, inexperienced players. Wingard short, rebound, Scott, up strong, and he was fouled. Looks like Greg Jones got him, and suddenly Bradley's piled up 3 quick team fouls. But that last shot, Jack, an indication there's not a whole lot down inside for Tulsa. We talked about that in our opening. It'll be tough for them to get easy baskets underneath against Jackson, Jones, and Donald Powell when he plays.
Right.
A Wingard traveled. J.D. Barnett in his 3rd year. Valley Coach of the Year with Wichita's Eddie Fogler last year. And at the other end, Anthony Manuel, indecisive, dragged his foot for a turnover.
The thing with a team like Bradley, though, is that they'll stagger slightly, but then when they finally explode, they're awesome, and they can roll up so many points in a hurry.
Tulsa's coughed it up 4 times, 2 by the Braves. Tulsa's been without a good shot for a while. Wingard across the paint with a double pump. He threw up an air ball. Absolutely awful shooting by the big man so far. Hasn't even touched iron on the last couple. 4 minutes in. Hawkins hanging in the air. Hersey has 5 already. He's averaging 36. Manuel tripping up Brian Lloyd. That will be 4 on Bradley already.
Bob, one of the things to consider, too, is that Hersey Hawkins has a tremendous personality for the game. He's not a hog. He accepts things, but he has the pride of a great athlete, and the fact that they've talked so much about how Lloyd held him may spur him to a great night.
Tulsa scored the first 2. Bradley the last 9.
Get a free automatic 35mm Kodak camera. Free when you buy 10 rolls or more of Owens Corning pink fiberglass insulation.
Well, I'm stuffed up. I want relief, fast.
Neosynephrine starts working in a neosecond.
A neosecond. I like that.
Today, nothing works faster to get you breathing.
Breathing. I like that.
Neosynephrine. Relief in a neosecond.
In these days of microcomponent technology, you can find office copiers that do almost anything. Some duplex, sort, automatically reduce and enlarge.
Can I use your copier?
It's down again. Try 23.
Thanks.
Some collate and margin shift.
Is your copier working? Sorry. Terrific.
But at Rico, we found that the most popular feature our copiers deliver is that our copiers deliver. Rico, copiers built to work and work and work.
Maybe it was a nightmare.
It's a Saturday nightmare. It lives again. And on Alfred Hitchcock Presents...
What are you doing?
The tension builds.
You're lying.
And builds right into the Ray Bradbury Theater.
Going for the hat trick, hey?
3 doses of terror.
You certainly have a weird imagination.
The Saturday Nightmares begin. Saturday starting at 8 on USA.
Student section is psyched so far. They saw Brian Lloyd get a steal in the jam 29 seconds into the game, and now Tulsa has gone scoreless for the last 3:52 and trails at 9-2. Bradley has basically doubled up in this series, 2 wins to every one of Tulsa's, +1 this season. They won the ballgame January 30th at the home of the Golden Hurricane, 65-62. Hersey Hawkins only had 17 that night, Jack, but he still found a way to beat the opposition. He got a key offensive rebound off a missed free throw in the closing seconds.
Well, he is a complete player, and what I was mentioning before we broke, and that is that I think his pride will perhaps carry him to great heights tonight.
James West, 14 in there for Tulsa running the club. So is Don Royster, who just missed that shot. Royster, a senior who's been having shooting problems all year long. Oh, and what a big play at the other end, as going high in the air was Wade Jenkins to stop his man Luke Jackson on a slam.
But here's an example. Jackson was underneath, and here he comes, part of the fast break. That is so much of an asset for a team, because when you've got a big man who can run like that, and he does it all game long, eventually he gets down court ahead of the other big men, gets some easy plays.
Lou Jackson. Shooting from the line at only a 39% clip. And then you look at his field goal stats, and he leads the team at 64%. A little higher percentage on the slams and the layups than it is from 15 feet away.
He's got to learn how to dunk his foul shots.
Tracy Moore got the rebound. Backcourt pressure by the Braves. James West, good ball handler, gets it ahead for Michael Scott. Down deep, the jumper is up and in from Jenkins. He's out of Chicago. Bradley has recruited a lot of players there. Carver High School, Jenkins. 6 points a game, the average, his first basket. It's 9-4 Bradley. Manual for Hawkins. Hersey has a three-pointer and a hanging in the air field goal. He's really dueling with Michael Scott right now, bouncing off each other, and Scott been reaching in long before the shot. So it started off with Brian Lloyd watching Hersey Hawkins tonight, with Lloyd out of the game. Michael Scott at 6'5", bigger than Lloyd, but not as quick, getting the assignment.
It's a difficult job for any one man, because if you watch as it develops, you'll see that Bradley tries to help Hawkins. There are a lot of screens.
Hawkins looking to jam, and he was stopped by Jenkins, and quickly, Wade Jenkins has a couple of fouls.
All right, now we just talked about how Bradley tries to help Hawkins, and this screen on this last play was right there. Here it is. Comes off, loses his man, then they've got to try to get help, and it's a little bit late. But that's how Hawkins gets a lot of his points without having to use a one-on-one dribble.
Hersey at the line, an 85% free throw shooter. The Big O will be a guest of Bradley at an upcoming home game during the tournament, which will be held here, in celebration of Hawkins breaking his record the other night. Hersey, a rare double miss from the stripe. Donald Powell has checked in for Bradley, leading 9-4. 5.5 minutes in. He is from up the road from Tulsa, Nowata, Oklahoma. Some folks in that area can't figure out how he got away and ended up in Peoria, Illinois. He's an outstanding defensive player and a good shot blocker. He's in the middle of your screen, number 24. Tracy Moore, quiet offensively so far. Dumped it down for Royster. He held it in for his teammate Jenkins. Trimpe tumbles out of bounds, and Tulsa keeps control. It was expected to be a physical game. It's living up to it so far. It always is when these two teams meet. These two, Wichita and Illinois State, have been the dominant teams in the Missouri Valley in the 80s. Michael Scott walking, another turnover, and Alan Thompson will check in for the Hurricane.
This is the type of year, Bob, that's extremely frustrating to a coach like J.D. Barnett, because through the things that he's devised, he is getting good shots for his team, and they just can't make them. And that's extremely frustrating, because he's doing what he has to do.
Royster is a prime example, a guy who shot very well last year. All year they've waited for him to explode. It's never come. And quickly, 3 fouls on Wade Jenkins.
Well, Jenkins was trying to get in front of his man, and he just really made it so obvious to the officials that they had to call it. It was right out in front of him.
14 fouls. That'll make it 5 against the Hurricane now. So Don Royster gets the call. Working on Donald Powell. Looks like a couple of linebackers working on each other out there. Hawkins with that quickness, the turnaround. Alan Thompson at 7 foot 205 out of DeWitt, Iowa. A freshman with the rebound. Tracy Moore against Hawkins. Got him in the air. Nearly an air ball as it just caught the end of the iron. You know, Tracy Hawkins, or rather Tracy Moore, has to deal with the defense of Hersey Hawkins, Jack, and Hersey is not very celebrated for his defense, but all you have to do is check the stat sheet. He plays it pretty well. He leads the team in steals.
He's a player. All you have to do is talk to the pro scouts. They'll tell you he can play every part of the game.
West with a dribble and a shot. James West, a 6'2 junior out of Milwaukee, a junior college transfer out of Iowa Lakes, and And there's the transition we talked about. Hawkins at the other end has 7. Bradley, there's no way to set up full court pressure against them because Luke Jackson gets it out of the hoop into midcourt before you know it. 11-6. Down deep. Moore working hard for 2. Tracy averaging a team leading 21 a game. Manuel bouncing off James West, who is called for the foul.
If you're attempting to be the leading scorer in the country, one of the things that certainly can be an asset is to have a man playing backcourt with you like Manuel, because Manuel is creative. He's a penetrator. He can get the ball to Hawkins, and yet he must be guarded because he's a scorer also.
Michael Scott has taken a seat. Brian Lloyd back in for the Hurricane in blue. Bradley Braves in white at home. They are a difficult team to beat here. Hawkins well short with a 3-point attempt. Tracy Moore with the transition rebound as he works it up. Lloyd for Thompson, a real makeshift Tulsa lineup in there now. Tracy Moore the constant though. Lloyd for 3. And the guy who's in there for defense now has 5 points, equaling his season average. Tulsa from the 3-point range, a 40% shooting team like Bradley, and suddenly the game is tied. It was 9-2 Braves a few moments ago. Hawkins working on Lloyd and Thompson. Shooter's touch couldn't quite get it to fall.
Well, you've got a scoring machine. You use it. What Bradley did on this last sequence was give the ball to Hersey Hawkins and then clear out and give him the entire side, the right side to work on. And he's tough one-on-one. I mean, this man is a complete player in his offensive repertoire. He's got the good shot. He's getting shots, incidentally, right now that he ordinarily would make.
So Tulsa with 11 minutes and 56 seconds remaining before halftime. Now in the penalty situation. Hersey Hawkins now with 8 on the night. The only Bradley player in top 10 scoring and rebounding on school charts, and they've had some outstanding ones here. Home team by 2 for our local cable systems. We'll pause for these messages.
They're lawyers in love. Meet LA Law's real-life partners, Jill Eikenberry and Michael Tucker, on the next Cover Story, Sunday.
The best for less. We got a bunch of new kitchen cabinets. Mom calls them Miralax. Here's my glove. There's even a garage. That's Mom's stuff. Here's mine. We're going to share. Do you have Miralax?
See Hamptons for free designing, free measuring, and free delivery. Plus factory direct prices on Miralax for selection and price. Nobody beats Hamptons.
The best for less. Every day.
Too cheap. Now my accountant thinks we're selling cars, trucks, and vans too cheap. Big rebates? He thinks I'm crazy for giving big discounts plus up to $750 rebates on Oldsmobiles. No money down? He can't believe we're selling Chevy cars and trucks with up to $600 rebates for no money down. They don't cost? And executive demo, $600 below our cost. Really?
Drive home in a bargain from Upstring Chevy Olds, but hurry before they're
sold.
13-11, Bradley Braves at home over the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa. Matchup of Stan Albeck and J.D. Barnett on the benches tonight. And interestingly enough, so far, Tulsa has out-rebounded Albeck's Braves 10-4.
I don't think that Bradley has been as sharp as they would hope for. I don't know whether or not they regarded Tulsa lightly or whether they're preoccupied with the fact that they're in the fight for the conference lead, and that might have made it a little tense, but they just haven't had that quick, sharp play that you ordinarily associate with them.
Wichita State plays at Tulsa Saturday in the Shockers finale. Big game for them on the road. Tipped out of bounds. Alan Thompson says, I never touched it. He thought that Donald Powell had punched it away. Another turnover. James West out of there. In to replace him, Jamal West, a 6'3 freshman out of Washington High School in Tulsa. Same school that produced Wayman Tisdale. 11:40, first half, 13-11. Manuel dumps it in, almost a steal by Royster. Jackson for Powell. Thompson over the back. Boy, the fouls are piling up. This first half could take a while to play, Coach.
Well, I think the thing that I like about this play is the unselfish attitude, and that was that there was an easy opportunity, but he passed down into Powell. That was Jackson. He just looked for another man.
Donald Powell missed 11 games last year with a bad wrist injury. He was averaging 20 points a game when hurt. Finished the season with 14 per outing. Thompson is gone with a foul, no points. Sarge, Ray Wingard back in there. He came from the Army, played for the Fort Hood Tankers last year. Tracy Moore with a rebound. Braves by 3. They've led by as many as 7. Jamal West for Michael Scott. Down deep. Working off a pick. Moore. Ed Hightower says it belongs to Tulsa. And Stan Olbeck can't believe it.
And he appealed to the other official, but he received no satisfaction.
Coach Barnett at the other end just happy to see his team keep possession. Seems like every time he looks up, Bradley's dribbling the ball. Royster, struggling in the shooting department all year, reluctant to let that one go from that range. And another traveling call, this time Jamal West.
The strategy is excellent. Keep moving the ball, because the one thing that Bradley wants to do is really get running, and Tulsa keeps the ball. It makes it tough on them.
Hawkins did a fancy 360, couldn't get the shot. Manuel got tripped up. Wingard lost it. Royster stole it. How will this play end up? With a block. Hawkins with a block, and then off the body of Jackson out of bounds.
Hersey Hawkins comes back on defense, hustles back. These are the things that everybody likes about this young man. He can score, but he also plays every phase of the game. Comes right in, gets involved, gets the block.
Wingard almost had it taken away. Goes left side. Royster powers in, offensive foul. You know, this floor here is laid on top of a hockey rink. And the way the Tulsa players of Coach Barnett have been sliding around without the dribble, you'd think they still had the ice down. They were playing on it. They have had a rash of turnovers early, but they're still very much in it because Bradley is struggling, leading by 3. Down deep, Powell. Powerful move, and Royster fouled him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tulsa team fouls already. Alan Thompson shuttles back in to replace Royster.
Now, Bradley has won 20 games. Hersey Hawkins is a great player. But because the rest of the Bradley squad is talented, this is why they win so many games, because you start to concentrate too much on Hawkins. These other men can hurt you. Powell plods underneath, keeps hustling, keeps going after things. He can score. Jackson can score. Of course, Manuel's a scorer. So this is a very well-rounded team.
Donald Powell had one of his finest games against Tulsa a year ago with 19 points, 9 rebounds. He also had a 20-9 outing against the Wolverines of Michigan. Thompson stepped on the line. That's a situation where a coach says, hey, let it go out of bounds if you can't catch the ball. The defender's the one that tipped it.
And he's giving him a little lesson on the sideline right now. J.D. Barnett stopped Thompson and talked to him, but it's over with now.
Hawkins being watched by Michael Scott. Still got it back. Blocked nicely by West. Jamal West came from nowhere to block the shot of Jerry Thomas. Clock running just under 10 minutes. First half. Bradley on top, 14-11. Hawkins has 9 so far. Thompson received the pass crossing the lane and couldn't hit. Over the baseline, it still belongs to the visiting team.
Bob, I am impressed with the things that Coach Barnett has been able to set up and get for his team. They start to hit these easy shots. They're going to make it rough for Bradley.
Wingard for Scott. Thompson thought about the tip, saw it was going to fall, and Michael Scott has his first basket. The transitioning Braves back quickly. It's 14-13. Manuel's been rather quiet offensively lately. Rather tentative pass, and Tulsa came up with it. Ingard down deep. Moore got Hawkins off the floor, and Hersey is called for the foul. 5 team fouls now against Bradley.
In the flow of any basketball game, when Bradley first started, I think that Tulsa was tentative. They were a little bit timid at times. And now they're beginning to realize that they can get the shots that they want, and that could give them encouragement. So I think this is a key moment in the game.
Tracy Moore, a rather reliable free throw shooter at 73%. Trevor Trimpe back in for Bradley. Luke Jackson will take a seat with 1 foul, no points. Tracy Moore now with 1,744 career points. We won't catch Steve Harris, who had almost 2,300 during his career. Thompson had the rebound and simply dropped the ball. Too strong for 3, Hersey Hawkins. Transitioning, Tracy Moore looking to move past Hawkins. Works in for the jumper. Threw it up too low. Wingard underneath. Ball hit the support, came right back down to him. J.D. Barnett says if it hit the support, why was it traveling?
I think he thinks it was Herschel called it traveling because he came down with it himself. I have no idea why.
Just like the ball hitting the iron, I suppose, if it is registered as a shot. Thomas with a chip over everybody wouldn't fall, and Thompson of Tulsa cleared it. Back up the court, Jamal West. Been a while since either team has scored. Wingard has Thompson. Tracy Moore has been guarded closely by Hersey Hawkins so far. He has 1 field goal. Jamal West with the jumper. Well off. Scott got the rebound. Manuel with the loose ball. Play is very sloppy right now, but here's the guy who can make it pretty in a hurry. Hawkins has 11.
Anybody sees this score right now, Bob, will think that they had an experimental game and took the 45-second clock out. It's amazing the way both squads have been really, really off, just off their pace.
Tracy Moore working across the baseline, out quick Jerry Thomas. Timeout on the floor. 7:30 remaining, first half. It's Bradley by 3, 16-13.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. Milk chocolate, that's creamy. Blending Krispies, so dreamy. Crunches. Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
And serve up some Nestle Crunch ice cream bars. They're scrumptious too.
If your house feels like the South Pole, you can help chase the chill of winter with CertainTeed fiberglass insulation to keep your home warmer and help save on energy bills, all with CertainTeed. And now, you can also get a free stadium blanket by buying 10 or more packages of CertainTeed insulation. This winter, don't live at the South Pole. Instead, insulate your attic with CertainTeed and stay cozy inside and out.
Tomorrow night on the USA Sci-Fi movie, it's Don Johnson in a real cult classic, A Boy and His Dog. Tomorrow at 9 p.m., 8 Central on USA. We're at Carver Arena and the Peoria, Illinois Civic Center with Jack Rowan, Bob Carpenter. Close ball game so far, albeit a sloppy one. 7:30 left first half. Tulsa out-rebounding Bradley by an amazing 3-1 margin so far, but turnovers have kept Tulsa behind in the ballgame. They've been shuffling the feet all over the court tonight.
So it's possessions both ways. They just about even it out.
Wingard from Moore on the inbounds play. See if Tulsa do something up here during the timeout. Wingard missed it, and Royster got the follow. Don Royster, his first points. He averages 7. A 6'6 senior from San Antonio. Trimpe down for Powell. Dumps it for Hawkins. On the baseline. Foul call. Well, the crowd has fallen kind of quiet, Jack. They're not used to this sort of pace when their Braves are home.
They're not, obviously, and also I think they're watching, they're seeing that Bradley in this cold spell has been very fortunate because Tulsa has had so many scoring opportunities that they have not capitalized upon because they are getting easy shots. And if Bradley was, you know, if Tulsa was scoring on these things right now, Bradley would be in a lot of trouble.
Don Royster just drew his 3rd foul at 7:07. J.D. Barnett's team long ago in double figures in fouls.
He also has to be aware that not capitalizing on the misfortunes of Bradley may be very costly because Bradley's like a time bomb. They could go off at any time.
Tracy Hawkins is 9th on the all-time NCAA scoring list now. Otis Birdsong is the man he's chasing for the number 8 spot. And ever since he scored 42 on opening night against New Orleans, he has been the nation's leading scorer. More for Wingard. James West for Michael Scott. They're doing everything they can to get Tracy Moore open. That time he got himself open and threw one high up off the glass. Moore with 4. And every time I see a shot like that, Jack, I think about our dear departed friend, Pistol Pete. He loved it when the guards penetrated and threw that ball high up off the glass over the big men and got it to drop in. Hawkins trying to dump it in for Thomas, and Thompson reaching. That will be his 2nd foul. Tulsa now has 4 players with 2 or more fouls.
Plus, with all this fouling, too, this has broken the flow of the game. Bradley really likes a game that's almost like soccer, nonstop, up and down. Nope, nothing stops the game. They get out of here in an hour and a half, and they're home. This game has had no pace.
And certain things suffer when the pace slows down. One of them appears to be free throw shooting. There's your score, 6:15 first half. Moore to give Tulsa the lead, but he was short, but Wingard is there. Couldn't get it over the iron because of good defense by Donald Powell. Transition, Thomas. He threw up a brick, but Powell has the follow. Donald has 3, he averages 12. Bradley retaking the lead. But this is a team averaging 93 points a game. Wingard with a miss. Thompson got an easy follow. Nobody boxed him away from the glass that time very well, did they?
No, and I think without Luke Jackson in there, there's significant loss in rebounding.
Jackson, not an offensive threat for Bradley, but a guy who plays the defense and hits the boards. Anthony Manuel, a rather undisciplined three-pointer, but in many cases he knocks him down. That's part of Bradley's offensive philosophy. Wingard from West. Can't get the shot. Taken away by Anthony Manuel. He waits for some support, throws another long one up and misses badly. Over the baseline, it still belongs to the home team. Tulsa will dip into the bench now to a player not normally seen this early in the game. Fallon Way Casey out of Kansas, Oklahoma will be the sub. Looks like Wingard is the man who took a seat.
He took a seat and then he threw one towel up in the stands there and one towel in the stands up. And I don't think his coach is too pleased with his reaction.
Powell gets it on the goaltending, and there was also a foul. Way Casey with the foul. Luke Jackson is checked back in for Stan Olbeck. Jerry Thomas takes a seat. Donald Powell, 6'8", 215. An All-American in high school in Nowata, Oklahoma. Tracy Moore skies for the miss. Powell settles for 5. Bradley settles for a 2-point lead. Clock running with 4:45 remaining before halftime. Tracy Moore double team. Thompson kicks it right side for James West, who penetrates a bit. Brian Lloyd picks it up. Lloyd for 3. Rebound, Donald Powell, straight ahead for Manuel, 3-on-2. Bounces it for Jackson. Oh, what a nice feed as Jackson got out wide enough and then angled in for the slam.
Right, and he made it from underneath the backboard. It's what we've talked about on a couple of occasions now. The value of a big man who can run.
Moore looking for 3 at the other end, well short. Here come the Braves running again. Hawkins into the paint. Ray Casey with the touch. Thompson has it, and he dumps it for West. 23-19, under 4 minutes left in the first half. Bizarre game. Little flurries of running, but in between, a lot of fouls, a lot of Tulsa passing, some tenacious defense. Ray Casey telegraphed the pass, and Trevor Trippy took it away. Manuel had Jackson to his right, didn't see him. Trippy goes in for Powell. Donald has 7, and Bradley leads by 6. Timeout, J.D. Barnett once. So we'll take a break with 3:16 before halftime. Bradley back in control.
What do you think of the Ford Festiva? It's big.
Small.
Nah, it's big. Sort of a big smallness.
Festiva gives you features like a roomy interior, 660 powertrain warranty, sometimes even your own parking space. So it's big and small.
How about Festiva's price? It's small. It's nothing. Smallness.
Ford Festiva. Call it big, call it small. Call it yours for only $54.90.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
In these days of microcomponent technology, you can find office copiers that do almost anything. Some duplex, sort, automatically reduce and enlarge.
Can I use your copier?
It's down again. Try 23.
Thanks.
Some collate and margin shift.
Is your copier working? Sorry. Terrific.
But at Rico, we found that the most popular feature our copiers deliver is that our copiers deliver. Rico, copiers built to work and work and work.
Halftime full for you tonight, starting with Bill Bruce in the Wall Street Consumer Update. Stan Albeck talks about his basketball journey from the college ranks to the pros and back. We'll have our Prudential first half statistics, Jack Rowan's expert analysis, highlights, and more at halftime this evening. With the coach, Bob Carpenter, here in Peoria. Coach J.D. Barnett very unhappy about the way his team handled the ball. Alan Thompson absolutely telegraphed a pass that Trevor Trippy easily picked off. And Jack, you have to be disciplined against Bradley because one mistake explodes their running game.
Right, and when they got this club together through substitutions, you could get the feeling that perhaps this was the chemistry that was needed because they haven't had it up till now tonight. Bradley's just too explosive to keep down for long.
Shooter's bounce. James West couldn't get it to fall. Here's Manuel. Powell for Hawkins. Whoa, what great ball movement.
All right, now that'll get the crowd going, and it gets the team confident. That's the type of thing you need.
Tulsa having trouble completing basic passes against Bradley's defense, and then Bradley executing wonderful passes on the fast break. 27-19. 2:25 remaining. Moore receives it, fouled, goes up and can't drop it in. Powell, the man they're pointing at.
The quick ball movement here is just excellent, and of course that doesn't come by circumstance. Stan Albeck has his team practice this daily. Time after time they go down. Now the thing that makes them such a fine running club is that all of the men on the court run well, they all pass well, and they look for each other. You know, there are times, Bob, when you're running fast break that you have maybe one man, even two possibly on the court, that you have to almost avoid unless you give them the ball just there as they're about to lay it in.
Tracy Moore had 6 points, 6 rebounds against Bradley last time. And he now has 6 on the night, averaging 21, and it's 27-21. Braves on top, 2:20 left, first half. Moore watching Trimpe. James West watching Anthony Manuel. Howell. This lineup out there for Bradley right now has a little bit of everything. A quick point guard with great assists. Trimpe, who can shoot the three-pointer. Howell with his power, missing there. Hawkins, who's Hawkins, and Jackson with his power defensively and rebounding. Tough lineup to crack. Thompson getting a lot of playing time tonight. He dumps it for Wingard.
A lot of movement now by Tulsa. Trying to get the good shot. There it is.
Michael Scott.
This is what they have to do. They have to be patient. They have to get the shots they can make.
Scott out of Phoenix, the Arizona Player of the Year a year ago when he averaged 23 points and 13 boards a game. He was an All-American, as is that man in the college ranks, but Hawkins missed it. And now Tulsa with a chance to get back to within 2, maybe to within 1, with 1:10 remaining.
And you notice, Bob, they did not run the fast break that time.
Inside, great pass. Ray Wingard for Tracy Moore. Moore has 8, and it's back to 2. Under a minute. Trimpe for 3 with the left-hander. Rebound, Michael Scott. Tripped up with Jackson pressuring him, and it's back on top for the Braves. Trimpe for Manuel. And a reaching foul. James West a long way from the basket. His second.
That was a foolish foul, but I mentioned that Tulsa did not run the fast break, and I think what they've done in these last few timeouts is tried to stay out of the running game. Unless they have a wide open opportunity, I don't think J.D. Barnett wants his team to try to go up and down the floor with Bradley.
Barnett will go to the bench. A starter back in, Wade Jenkins, with 2 points, 3 fouls, will spell Alan Thompson.
Thompson gave them one thing of some value. He went to the offensive boards a couple times, but in addition, in their passing game, because he's 7 feet tall and came outside, he was able to make some good passes.
Anthony Manuel's had a quiet first half, averaging 13 a game, only has 2 points. Normally a reliable free throw shooter. Tulsa could tie here. And you'd have to think that a J.D. Barnett team against a running Bradley team would want to work the clock some, maybe go for the last shot with the shot clock inoperative at this point.
They're set up now to go for the last shot.
Moore with 8 seconds left, a three-pointer. Tracy Moore has 11. What a rainbow that was. Manuel from half court. And at halftime, Tulsa stunningly takes a 1-point lead. 28-27 in a first half at times lethargic, at limited times exciting with Bradley running. But Tulsa somehow escapes with a 1-point lead after 20 minutes of play. A lot of things coming up for you as we start our halftime here in Peoria.
Silver Eagle Records presents today's hottest singer-songwriter, Smokey Robinson.
The tracks of my tears.
Or compact disc. To order, use your credit card and call the number on your screen.
Baby, baby, don't cry. I second that emotion. I love it when
This is an exclusive TV offer and may not be repeated, so call now.
you really got a hold on me. My mama told me you better shop around.
If you order
Honor Smokey Robinson's greatest hits. The first 1,000 callers will also get as a free gift the best of Marvin Gaye. Smokey Robinson's greatest hits and your free gift, the best of Marvin Gaye. On 3 LPs, 2 double-length cassettes, $14.95. Compact disc, $16.95.
To order, credit card customers call 1-800-433-8900. If busy, call 1-800-453-1500. Or send just $14.95 for albums or cassette, or $16.95 for compact disc, plus $3 shipping and handling to Smokey, Box 4, Orchard Park, New York.
Which Central Illinois law firm has over 65 years combined experience in personal injury cases? Goldfine and Bull. Which law firm represents the largest number of personal injury victims? Goldfine and Bull. Which law firm is the leader in personal injury and workers' compensation awards? Goldfine and Bull. What's the first thing you should do if you're injured? Call Goldfine and Bull. There's no charge to discuss your case. Don't settle for less.
For most people, a new car is one of the largest purchases they'll ever make. Yet they really don't know where to start. We can help. We're Shearer Buick Pontiac Isuzu, and we've made a commitment to the right service and the right price. A commitment that's made us #1 in customer satisfaction in the entire metro area. Buying a car isn't easy, but we're not in it for a quick sale. When we put our name on a car, it's our commitment to your business and your trust long term. We're Shearer. We'll show you how car buying should be.
Well, many times this year, Bradley playing at home has been kicking up a storm to the tune of about twice as many points as they have on the scoreboard right now. Tulsa 28, Bradley 27. After 20 minutes of play, welcome back with Jack Rowe and Bob Carpenter. A most unusual first half for a Bradley team playing at home.
It's unusual for Bradley because Bradley really likes to get going, and they haven't been able to. There's been a lot of disruptions in the flow. This is exactly, I think, what Tulsa would like to see.
Although they had to give up a lot of fouls to stop the action, how much of a factor could that be later on if Bradley gets moving a bit?
I think it could be a big factor, but one of the things that you can look forward to with J.D. Barnett right now at halftime is he's got to be telling his team, look, we got the shots we wanted. Now all you have to do is concentrate, make them. Seemed like several times the Tulsa players were expecting Luke Jackson to block the shots, and he wasn't there.
So after 20 minutes of play, Tulsa on top by a point. A lot of things coming up for you at halftime this evening. And our first order of business is William Bruce with tonight's Consumer Update.
And up
from Tulsa, the Golden Hurricane on top of the Bradley Braves by a score of 28-27. And our Frito-Lay halftime report is brought to you by Ruffles brand potato chips. Interesting story on the bench here in Peoria. He started a long time ago in the college ranks to the pros and now back, and he's very happy. Stan Albeck.
Stan Albeck has spent 11 years coaching, 7 years in the NBA with such teams as San Antonio, New Jersey, Chicago, and rebuilding teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now back in the college game, Stan had a chance to reflect on the difference between the two levels.
Well, I think, as far as basketball is concerned, it's still pretty much the same game. I think you teach what you know. And certainly after spending 17 years in pro basketball, I think, I've really gleaned a lot of good ideas and tried to bring them to the program here. And that's basically an up-tempo game. And I think really offensive basketball is the new wave as far as college basketball is concerned.
Although it's all basketball, each provides a different kind of stress.
The one thing that I like is the fact that you lose a game. In college, you have maybe 3 or 4, maybe a week to think about it. In the pros, you just roll out of that city where you lost, and you got a chance the next night to win.
Also, teaching college players appeals to the coach.
It gives you a chance to go back to the basics of college basketball and working with people and seeing them grow, and seeing someone like Hersey Hawkins grow in the 2 years and the tremendous strides that he's made, and hopefully he'll be Player of the Year. I think he has a great chance because he's really literally come out of nowhere to be the top of this class.
Albeck's professional career didn't start in the NBA.
In the ABA, we had the best league, we had the best talent, we had the best basketball, and the only thing that happened is we were undercapitalized. High points, I would have to say, certainly at San Antonio, getting to 2 Western Conference Finals against the Lakers and not being that far away from going into the finals. And I think certainly the upset that we engineered at the Mets over the 76ers when they had won it the previous season. And just being around great players like George Gervin and Buck Williams and Michael Jordan, I miss, some of that day-to-day relationship with those people on occasion.
And what if the coach was enticed back to the glitter, the fame and fortune of the NBA?
I'm asked that all the time, and I think, you never say never, because who can predict what's going to happen to any of us? I could be gone tomorrow, and I think you just take that and you take a look at it, and if it's something that's real, then you talk about it. It could be an opportunity. If it isn't there, then you need not worry about it.
Well, Jack Rowan, on a one-on-one basis, you've known Stan Albeck as a professional coach, as a college coach. There's a difference now, isn't there?
Oh, I think so. I saw Stan, I would say, maybe 3-4 years ago when he was working out with the Nets, and today I think he looks 5 years younger. The grind of the pro game certainly is a lot different.
Well, he's enjoying life here in Peoria. Lives in an apartment right across the street over here and just walks over to practice and walks over to the games. His team, though, not walking over Tulsa. The Golden Hurricane by 1 at the half, 28-27, as we'll have highlights and statistics in a moment.
Hi, y'all are. You know what this flat old potato chip is, huh? This is just a way for filling up your hungry spot, that's all. But this is a Ruffles potato chip. Oh, yeah, Ruffles got ridges. And they taste so good. Oh, man, they don't just fool your hungry spot, no. They make you have your enjoys all the way plumb. I guarantee.
Ruffles brand potato chips. The taste won't leave you flat.
Watch me get a big enjoy with this one. Oh, man.
One of Road & Track's 10 best values in the world. One of Car & Driver's 10 best cars. And the world's best-selling car. Along with all their acclaim, these cars share the nameplate of America's most successful car company, Ford.
Winning the world over. Have you been behind the wheel? Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
If you can dream it, you can do it. Today, the Prudential can show you a new world of financial opportunities. Look to the Rock for mutual funds, stocks, and bonds. Feel its strength in CDs, insurance, and mortgages. With the right choices, the right guidance, the sky's the limit. The Prudential. Your Rock in financial services.
You can be a fleet buyer at John Deere's Ford Yugo.
Once a year only, we sell every car, truck, and van at a factory direct fleet buyer's price. Escorts and Festiva are only $59.95, and you can even buy a Yugo for only $25 down. We purchased every car, truck, and van possible, so you can save thousands, just like the commercial fleet buyers do. But it's only for a limited time at John Deere's Ford Yugo.
Half-price closeouts coming to UFS every day of the week, and they don't.
Peoria, Tulsa 28, Bradley 27, with the second half approaching in just a couple of moments. And speaking of approaching, the Bradley Braves have been approaching the basket from all angles on the court this year, Jack, and it usually starts at the defensive end, whether off a miss or a make, they get the running game going.
Well, we want Luke Jackson in this picture would show you exactly how the advantage comes of having a big man. He was underneath the backboard. Now he's out on that left wing, and look at him move. He's gotten out ahead of the ball, and he was underneath, and that's the value of that man. Now, there aren't very many big men that will stay with him when he does this. Now, Tulsa is trying so hard to get the ball in down low. They're looking for Tracy Moore, and on this particular occasion, they were able to set up the screen, and when Tulsa has worked the ball this way, they have been effective.
Tonight's first half statistics are brought to you by the Prudential, going above and beyond to meet your needs in insurance and other financial services. Interesting stats on this one. Bradley is out shooting Tulsa, but Tulsa has 5 more attempts. Look at the rebounding and look at the turnovers. Ray Wingard already has 8 rebounds for Tulsa, Jack, and Tracy Moore has 7 himself. But turnovers have kept them from taking more control of this game.
And a majority of those turnovers came when Bradley was not playing particularly well and Tulsa could have pulled away.
Tracy Moore with those 7 rebounds also has 11 points. Hersey Hawkins leading the way for Bradley with 14. They don't have anybody in serious foul trouble. Tulsa has 2 players, Don Royster and Wade Jenkins, each with 3 fouls. And we'll be on the road next week with College Basketball 88, back up in Dayton at the UD Arena on Tuesday night live at 8 p.m. Eastern. And visiting the Blue Demons of DePaul, Rod Strickland, Joey Meyer and company on the road. Dayton beat DePaul in Chicago earlier this year. The Demons want revenge.
Oh, you can believe that. It's a no-no for DePaul to lose in Chicago.
Especially to a Dayton team that's struggling. They played pretty well that night, though. The young Flyers of Don Donaher and Joey Myers, Blue Demons. Tonight we've got J.D. Barnett's Hurricane with the ball against Stan Albeck's Braves of Bradley. Tulsa up by 1 on the heels of that stunning 3-pointer by Tracy Moore with about 7 seconds left before halftime.
Tulsa's gone back to deliberate basketball.
Lloyd kicks it down. Open and 2 for Tracy Moore, and he has 13. And I bet he got about 7 of his 11 in the first half in the last 6 or 7 minutes. So he's a red-hot scorer. Anthony Manuel for Trimpe. Hope you're enjoying college basketball tonight on USA. Nation's leading scorer, Hersey Hawkins driving, coming up empty. Down the court, Jenkins for Moore. Tracy Moore playing in his final regular season game on Saturday at home against Wichita, but putting on a show here tonight. Couldn't get that one to fall, but there's Wingard with another board. A bouncing board, if you will. Away from the ball, a foul on Luke Jackson, his second.
When there's a contrast of styles as you have tonight, there's a constant war, and that is to establish your game as the dominant part of the game. And right now, Tulsa has taken that for, I would say, the last couple of minutes of the first half, and now they are dominating the style of play.
Wingard for Lloyd and back. Tracy Moore doing offensively a lot of the same things that Hersey Hawkins does, working off picks. That time a little too hard with the hook. Hawkins got the rebound and cleared it up left side for Anthony Manuel. Manuel came in averaging 12 assists per game, number 2 in the nation, to Southern Baton Rouge's Avery Johnson.
You know, Bob, when a team decides that you are going to be primarily responsible for so much, as Tulsa is with Moore, that is a tremendous responsibility. There aren't a lot of players that can handle that. There are a lot of players who would like to have it, but when it finally comes down to it, it's tough to handle. Hersey Hawkins, of course, has been able to take that type of responsibility.
You saw that graphic about Tulsa's last losing season 8 years ago. The year after was when Nolan Richardson showed up with his instant team from Western Texas Junior College, Paul Pressey and company. They will have a losing season unless they go all the way, and I don't know if you can still win that many to get to the Final Four. But they do have a chance to go to the NCAA because the Missouri Valley Tournament champion gets an automatic bid. Hersey Hawkins on the miss. Wingard with his 10th rebound of the game. Kick to the bounce. You know, we mentioned earlier they are having the postseason tournament here in Peoria. They've already sold 7,500 tickets. They have corporate sponsorship for the tournament from the folks at Pepsi, so they feel like they have a great future, and some feel that tournament could find a permanent home here in Peoria. Moore missing. Jenkins with the rebound. Big 2 for the Hurricane. He has 4. Bradley transitioning. Tulsa leading by 5, 32-27. But Hersey takes a 2-point fight out of that in a hurry. 16 for Hawkins.
He's so tough because after you've fought through screens and maybe he's done a pretty good job, if he gets the ball, he's a talented one-on-one player.
Michael Scott looking behind into the bench for instructions during play. Wingard for Moore, working tirelessly off picks. and slapped away by Greg Jones out of the hands of Wade Jenkins. Bradley, 20-win season. They're 20-4. Stan Albeck's team 9-2 in the Valley. A virtual tie with Eddie Fogler's 10-3 Shockers of Wichita.
Hawkins is guarding more. That means that they are banging Hawkins into a tremendous amount of screens, which can be tough to take.
Baseline left. Won't go. Missing was Michael Scott. Manuel for Trippy. Left-handed for three. And this baby is tied. Trippy's first basket of the night. He leads the Braves from that range 47%.
Crowd is looking for any reason to get involved, and that three-pointer woke them up a little bit. In the first half, when Bradley made some big plays, Tulsa got excited and started to run with Bradley, but this time they settled down, going back into that deliberate game.
Shot clock under 15 as James West receives it from Michael Scott. Braves have played pretty good D all night. Now down to 7 seconds, and they find Jenkins backdoor for an easy two, and the foul on Greg Jones.
Excellent play. Quite often when you wait till that last second, you don't get a good shot, but that time the pass was there. Excellent vision, good hands. He really made a great catch.
Also leading by 5 a moment ago. Bradley tied it. Hurricane with a chance to go back by 3. Jenkins, 59% free throw shooter. Big three-point play for him. He has 7. He averages 6. 35-32. 4 minutes into the second half. Whistle down deep. Wingard dueling there with Luke Jackson, and it looks like number 1 on Ray Wingard.
In the normal setup for Bradley offensively, when Manuel has the ball, Jackson and Jones or whoever else the big men are down low, and Hawkins has the opportunity to run from baseline all the way from side to side, just trying to use those men as screens. There it comes again.
And it really doesn't make any difference what defense the other team plays. Talking to the Tulsa coaches earlier this week, they said, hey, if we play a man or a zone, they'll still double post and let him work.
That's right, because Stan Albeck realized almost immediately that he's going to have to help Hawkins.
15:56, second half. Visitors by 3. Lots of time left.
This man is not a company president. He's not a vice president.
They're waiting for you.
While his face is well known to everyone from the security guard to the summer intern, his name doesn't appear on the company phone list. Yet he controls the productivity of this office, down to the last sheet of paper. And we think that's a serious problem. Because business should depend on a copier that works, not a repairman. Rico, copiers built to work and work and work.
When my nose is stuffed, I want it unstuffed fast. Boom, now!
Neosynephrine starts you breathing fast in a neosecond.
Neosynephrine, yeah. But it's got to work fast, really fast.
Nothing works faster or better than today's Neosynephrine. It starts working in a neosecond.
A neosecond. I like that.
For free breathing fast, you know you can trust Neosynephrine.
Breathing. I like that.
Neosynephrine. Relief in a neosecond.
Next on the USA Sci-Fi movie, Don Johnson.
Find me abroad and we'll go to the promised land.
A different time, a different partner.
Fine, dog meat.
The vice is always nice.
Pull up your pants, Romeo.
Don Johnson, just a boy and his dog. Tomorrow at 9.
It's a dirty job.
We're unfortunately in the business of death.
But some people love to do it. Hitchcock, Saturday at 10 on USA.
Well, if he could, the Brave might wipe that wide smile off his face and maybe wear a smirk at this point. Still very much in it. Visitors on top by 3. Braves have been on the floor for a while. Tulsa still in its huddle as Jim Bain, the official, stares in and says, let's play.
In fact, he was patient.
Official Tom O'Neill will give the ball to Trevor Trippy to throw it in. Took a little time, but well within the 5-second limit. Hawkins for Manuel. Watching him, James West. Brian Lloyd tried to fight through a pick of Greg Jones, who stepped out just a little bit and gave Lloyd a pretty good pop.
And that's the example we're talking about of how the Bradley team sets up so many things just to free up Hawkins. That time Hawkins was running baseline. Jones tried to give a little extra help outside the rules.
Brian Lloyd running full speed to keep up with Hersey Hawkins. All of a sudden he glanced off the edge of a brick wall, and Greg Jones. Manuel with a steal, then a foul on Tracy Moore. Number 1 on the Tulsa senior guard out of Oklahoma City.
Bob, it's a little bit like the movie where you expect something to jump out at you at any moment and scare you. You just keep expecting Bradley to start to go, and they haven't. They've had a couple of spurts, but nothing sustained.
I tell you, this has been a haunted house for a few visiting teams. Hawkins short, got his own, lost it, on the floor, got it again! And a technical on Ray Wingard for emoting after the call.
Right. I mean, the man is a very emotional player. He came out of the game before, number 50, Ray Wingard, and he threw towels up into the stands. Now, I don't know whether he was upset at coming out of the game, but whatever it was, he was upset. The coach talked to him for a while. He's had several occasions now where he's emoted after being called for something, and this time he just went too far.
Interesting move by J.D. Barnett. He called Tracy Moore over to the bench to talk to him. Tracy very slow in making his way to the coach. J.D. jerked him right out of the game and brought someone else in. Hawkins will cash in at the line. Three-point play is good. There's a tee. He has 20. Add possession, and Bradley could lead by as many as 3 or 4. Barnett wants to know who called the technical foul. It's easy. Jim Bain staring right into the face of Ray Wingard, who went crazy after he was called for the foul.
I don't think he knew there was a tee.
I don't think so. Hawkins missing. Rebound. Controlled initially by Wade Jenkins. I really like the way Bradley cuts off those passing lanes all over the floor. There is nothing like an easy pass against them. Great penetration by Wade Jenkins, and the sophomore from Chicago, Carver High School, has 9. Manuel wants to answer from long range. Trippy gets the high rebound, but he pushed off to get it, and that's his second. He slammed the ball to the floor.
I thought there might be another technical. The other thing I think right now is that these officials better really watch the emotions that are starting to develop, or we're going to have another college brawl. And I know that early this year, before the Big East came out with their edict about fighting, Jim Haney, commissioner of this league, the Missouri Valley Conference, did the same thing. There are penalties involved now if there are altercations.
Jenkins for James West. Tulsa by 1. Jenkins taking charge. Tried to get his own. Ball came back down for Michael Scott. Wingard penetrating. He can't get the roll, and Hersey Hawkins outlets for Manuel. Hey, Wingard is a man possessed out there. And looks like Jackson with a foul, trying to fight his way to the ball. That's number 3 on Luke Jackson.
That was another screen for Hersey Hawkins, and that time I think Jackson stood his ground, and he was knocked into by the defense trying to get to Hawkins.
Paul Wilson is in for the Bradley Braves, a 6'6 junior swingman, guard forward out of Lorain, Ohio. He's down floor watching Wade Jenkins. So Bradley, through the first 25 minutes of this game, still unable to get untracked, at least into their mode. Lloyd down deep for Wingard. Foul on him. Big physical matchup there. James West, left side. Michael Scott. He'll do some one-on-one against Wilson and beats him to the baseline. Scott has 6. He missed 11 games with an injury earlier this year. Didn't get to play out at Arizona State. in his own backyard as a high schooler last year, Arizona Player of the Year, but coming on strong now for Tulsa as he gets his endurance back. Wingard dueling with Jackson, and Ray Wingard was bouncing off, but that's his third foul. All of them, plus a technical, since halftime.
And it's a battle for position down low. A lot of pushing and shoving. And Jackson that time, well, I think Wingard put on a little bit of an act as though Jackson had pushed him back, and he got called for the foul then. I think if he had just played it, nothing would have been called.
I think you're right, Coach. Wingard will take a seat. Maybe a little time to cool off. Inbounding it on the baseline is Paul Wilson out on top to Anthony Manuel. We are beyond the 6-minute mark, gone in the second half. 39-36 Tulsa. A dish underneath, a scramble for control, and Jackson missed a gimme shot. Down they go for Jenkins. Anthony Manuel watching him. Ryan Lloyd, Alan Thompson seeing extensive first half action. Back in there, 52 with it. Tracy Moore out of there. A little disciplined by the coach. West, jumper in the paint. Too tall, but there's Scott. Too short on that one. Offensive foul in the backcourt on Jackson. Ryan Lloyd posted up in front of him, and there was a collision.
Well, when Jackson came off, he swung that elbow, and that's definitely against the rules, and he got caught. Big rebound here. Tulsa has really been going through the board. Now when Jackson comes off, he's going to swing that arm out. There it is, right there. That's a no-no.
No doubt about it. 4 fouls on Jackson. Still in there. Long way to go. 13 minutes. A lot of fouls in this one tonight. Lloyd. Or Scott. Jenkins up high. Got the roll. Ray Jenkins has 11, 9 of them since halftime, and Tulsa leads by 5, matching its biggest lead. Led 32-27 at one time. Now it's 41-36. Almost a turnover. Blocked by Thompson from behind on Wilson, who tries it again. Rejected, but a foul first on Michael Scott. Boy, there is nothing inside tonight that is anywhere near easy.
It's become a no man's land now. He comes down in there with his head down and looking for something. Brought the ball behind his head, and that's how Thompson was able to get to it. And that's just so much. I don't know if they call goaltending on that.
No points on the board, so it's a foul all the way. Thompson, his third. Check it. That was Michael Scott with his second a moment ago. Paul Wilson on the board for the first time tonight. Wilson, a good three-point man, and has done some backup work at point guard, but lately he's been doing some operating down deep. Thompson fighting to get control for his team. Lloyd over the timeline. 41-37, Tulsa approaching the 12-minute mark remaining. Hurricane led by 1 over the Braves at halftime, 28-27. And they're surviving nicely. They did for a while without Tracy Moore in there. He checked back in on the foul, receives it. Powell beat him in the air. Thompson with a follow, and he couldn't get it. Coach looks at that one and says, we should have had 2. Wilson checks his feet and misses a three-pointer. He looked down to see if he was behind the line.
Tulsa goes back to work. This has been the thing that's kept him in this game.
Brian Lloyd tripping, almost traveling. Now he decides to take a jumper, which is short. And he had to foul his man, Jerry Thomas, to get it back. That will be number 4 on Brian Lloyd.
Bob, the way this game has gone, it looked as though in the very beginning, J.D. Barnett had instructed his club that the only way we can really do a job with the Braves is to play a deliberate style. Obviously, they played that way in Tulsa with that low score, both of them being in the 60s. But it was almost as though the team didn't believe them. They went out, they ran. And when they started running, Bradley was better. Now they're settling into this game where they work and they try to get the high percentage shot.
Jerry Thomas is noted as the best defensive player on the Bradley team, but tell Cal Irvine that. He had 33 against them early in the season. Got them both. His first points of the night. We've got 11-17 remaining in the game. Tulsa hanging on, 41-39.
We go above and beyond just like you, above and beyond what we have to do, caring for what's special to you.
I'm a Prudential representative, and what's really important to me when I go into someone's home is to help them save money on their homeowner's insurance, because I know I'm a homeowner too.
Taking care to protect what's important to you, the Rock, the Prudential, above and beyond.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. Milk chocolate, that's creamy. Blending Krispies, so dreamy. Crunches. Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
And serve up some Nestle Crunch ice cream bars. They're scrumptious too.
Tim Mayotte is the defending champion of the EPEL U.S. Pro Indoor Tennis Championship in Philadelphia. USA will have action for you this weekend. Saturday, the semis at 1 p.m. Eastern. Sunday, the championship, same time. Yvonne Lendl in the bracket this year. Will Mayotte win again, or will Lendl take it, or someone else? Join us this weekend on USA for the best in professional tennis action. Let's talk about some fouls, Coach. Plenty of them here tonight. Whoa. Look at that graphic.
It looks like if it keeps going this way, Tulsa may have to bring in some people for gym credit.
Tulsa, a young team with not a great amount of depth. But if fouls can help you alter the style of a basketball game,
it has been disruptive.
Those fouls have been beneficial to the guys in blue. Traveling at midcourt, turnovers have been detrimental, though, to the guys in blue. They had 12 of them in the first half.
Now, pressure defense causes a turnover. Sometimes when your team is stale offensively, one of the ways to come out of it is to increase your defensive pressure.
Anthony Manuel works against James West. Gets it back from Powell. Wilson is in there. Hawkins receives it. He was tripped.
You can see at that time, both the big men, Thomas and Powell were down low, and Hawkins was peeking around both just to wait to see which way Manuel could get him the ball. That's so tough for the defender because Hersey Hawkins knows how to use those screens. I mean, it's not just a question that they're there. He walks you, you don't know exactly which way he's going to go, and then boom, all of a sudden he's off one of them.
21 for Hersey. Visualize our graphic of a moment ago and add another player with 3 fouls. Michael Scott for Tulsa just got his third. Hersey with 22 on the night. 14 under his average. 5 more than he scored against Tulsa last time. This one back even at 41. They break the press. 3-on-1. Jenkins, soft jumper. Nicely done.
He's played very well. Jenkins seems to have a very, very fine realization of what he can do, and he goes to it.
And Manuel with a turnover in the backcourt. Wade Jenkins seems to be one of the few Tulsa players that is shooting well under pressure.
Right.
They just haven't had that much this year, Jack.
No, and he's taking shots he can make. I think sometimes some of the Tulsa players go a little beyond their range or they get excited, but
even Tracy Moore has fallen in that trap because he feels he has to do it himself. Here's Tracy working against Hersey Hawkins. Probably the 2 best guards in the Missouri Valley matching up right there. Moore from Oklahoma City. Hawkins, Chicago. Shot clock approaching 15. Visitors on top by 2. Moore. Wish for 2. Tracy has 15 on the night. Hawkins looking for 3. Long with it. Powell with a tip follow. Got his own and drew a foul. They're pointing at James West, and that will be number 4.
think Tulsa's in a situation right now where they're very happy that they don't have a 6 or 7 man squad. You know, once in a while you have injuries and illness and something like that. You go into a game with maybe 8 men, but Tulsa has a full bench.
If they had 6 or 7, Jeff, they wouldn't be able to guard anybody right now. Donald Powell. A rather tentative attempt. Powell gained a little too much weight during the offseason, thus got off to a slow start. But he's been playing well lately, and Bradley needs him along with Jackson if they're to go anywhere in the NCAA, along with this guy. The defense of Hawkins. He leads the Braves in steals. He's number 2 in assists and leads the US of A in scoring. Big play. Tulsa could have gone up by 6. Instead, it's a 2-point game, and now Bradley could equalize with 9:10 remaining. Goaltending to be called. Credit the basket to Paul Wilson.
And Bradley's on the verge of breaking open again. Now, this is when Tulsa has to go back up the court, be deliberate, work. This kind of takes the crowd out of it. This crowd wants you to yell and scream and have Bradley shoot about every 7 or 8 seconds.
Yeah. All tied up. I'll tell you, some folks who are watching this one with great interest in Wichita, Shocker fans, players, and coaches. A Tulsa win puts Wichita in first place in the Valley with only a game at Tulsa on Saturday remaining. Moore for the jumper. Yes, and Tracy has 17. Approaching his average of 21. Brian Lloyd set the check back in for Tulsa, leading by 2. Manuel dumps it for Powell. Powers to the iron. And last touch by Hawkins over the baseline. Tulsa will get possession. Hawkins thwarted that time. And walking right by him, right there, Brian Lloyd, who just checked in.
You know, Hawkins has the luxury that not very many guards in the country do have, and that he's permitted to go to the offensive boards. And he's very good at that.
With his quickness, he can do that while avoiding fouls. Jamal West also in for the Hurricane. Moore pulled up to the free throw line and stopped. Wingard looking for Jamal West instead. Tracy Moore with a quick turnaround. Followed jam by Wingard, misfired. Hawkins into the face, staring, and Tracy Moore couldn't get the shooter's touch. And Ray Wingard in double figures rebounding tonight. Pulls down still another.
Tulsa has been much more powerful near the backboards than Bradley. Good, strong players down low.
7:35 left. Tulsa 47, Bradley 45. It was a 28-27 game at the half. Bradley had a 7-point lead early in the game. Jamal West blocked from behind. Big play there by Paul Wilson. Hawkins fouled before the shot. No, one official says before the shot, the other says the basket counts. Jim Bain was pointing to the floor. Tom O'Neill overruled him.
All right, here goes Hawkins taking it to the basket. Right there, he gets fouled in the act. The official that said he was fouled while he was shooting was correct. But Hawkins hurts you so many ways, and one of the things, of course, is that as a scorer, when he gets that ball anywhere within 15 feet, the only way he gives it up is if somebody else is wide open. He is unselfish. He'll make the right play, but he has the power to go to the basket. This is one of the reasons, Bob, that the NBA scouts like him so much. He's got the physical strength to play an NBA schedule and to take the pounding that those people have. 190 pounds out there, and he's strong.
And with that rotation, even when he hits the iron, it falls in. Hersey has 26. His team has the lead again. 48-47, 7:21 left. And from Peoria, for our local cable systems, we'll pause for these messages.
Some babies keep you up all night. Lots of people call their baby It. It lives again on Saturday Nightmares, Saturday at 8 on USA.
For the best tires and the best service at the best price, he should have called the pros at Plaza.
Now, slightly used steel-belted radios by Uniroyal are as low as $29.95. The right tires at the right price. See the pros, Plaza Tire and Service Company, Peoria.
The worst part of my car accident was that I was hurt and I had no one to turn to for help. Then I called Goldfine & Bowles.
Goldfine & Bowles, the leader in personal injury awards. Call Goldfine & Bowles and don't settle for less.
Have you got it? Got it? Better get it. Get it? The card that does it. Does what? The card that does it all. Introducing the new Bartonville Bank Visa and MasterCard. Cards with an unbeatable interest rate, plus a 25-day interest-free grace period. But that's not all. This same card can access your account at any one of over 50 Money Center 24 locations. Now, a better Visa and MasterCard at a better rate than new Bartonville Bank cards. The card that does it all. Get it? Got it. Call Bartonville Bank for it.
Suspense becomes an affair of the heart when a doctor must choose between a patient of wealth and a patient who's truly in need. It's an all-new Alfred Hitchcock Presents Saturday at 10 p.m., 9 Central on USA. Choices to be made here. Bradley or Tulsa. They're neck and neck with 7:21 remaining. The Hurricanes played a mighty game on the road tonight. How long can they sustain against these fans, a sellout of better than 10,300 and a very talented team in the top 20?
Most important thing Tulsa can do right now is get the ball over center court without losing it and get back to work. Going to quiet the crowd down.
Here in the second half, Tulsa's still out rebounding Bradley, 15-11. Though shooting slightly better than 35%. Wingard all the way, and Donald Powell blocked it. At the other end, a misfire on a slam by Paul Wilson. This place would have gone crazy had that one gone through.
But that running game was there. When you miss the easy shot against Bradley, you can be sure of one thing. You better get back on defense in a hurry.
Tulsa out-rebounding Bradley by a big margin at halftime as well. Moore trying to take charge, but well short. Royster comes skying in. Loose ball. Powell bounces it for Manuel. Straight ahead for Thomas. This pace is too much for the visitors, who trail by 3.
And Moore forced the shot. At the key, he forced that last shot.
Wingard says, come on, Donald Powell, and guard me. Casey Moore gets loose for the pass. Royster. Not seeing a lot of action tonight because of foul trouble in the first half. With Royster and Wingard in there, Tulsa has its most physical lineup. Shot clock under 10. Wingard off the glass, missed everything except the glass.
Now let's set up all the screens for Hawkins.
He's working behind Donald Powell right now. Manuel not too shy about putting it up. He got in too deep and Thomas dumps it. Wilson, good three-point shooter himself. Here's Powell to the iron. And he collided on the way in with Michael Scott. And that would be number 4 on Michael.
When Bradley sets up those low screens for Hawkins, sometimes the men guarding the screeners get so occupied with Hawkins that they let the screeners screen. That's what happened that time. Powell's able to step out, be free at about 13 feet, and then be able to explode from that position.
Lloyd and Wingard checked out for Tulsa. Jenkins, who's played great in the second half, back in for the Hurricane. Donald Powell at the line. Seven for him tonight.
What Tulsa did not want in these last few offensive sequences was for Wingard to be shooting long shots and for Moore to force up a shot. This is what Bradley looks for.
Now the Braves open up a 5-point lead. They've trailed by 5 in the second half, so they've swung it back to the tune of 10 points. Scott going all the way and fouled from behind. Paul Wilson raising his hand, his first. Intense ball game here in Peoria. There's a very intense coach. The styles of Barnett and Albeck very contrasting in the college ranks. Barnett, intense, a taskmaster. Albeck a little more relaxed, casual atmosphere. Michael Scott has 7 on the night.
Stan Albeck may look relaxed over on that bench, but he's churning inside.
Knows the importance of this game. The top seed in the postseason tournament at stake. And he doesn't want to have to play Tulsa. Tulsa might finish 7th, meaning they'd play the second place team. Powell stripped to the ball. They want to finish first so they can play Indiana State, a less dangerous team than the Hurricane.
I'm sure that a lot of the low-placed teams in the league are not eagerly looking forward to the opportunity to play Bradley at home.
Donald Powell spending a lot of time at the line here in the second half. 9 for him, 4:54 remaining. 4 points, the Bradley lead, 53-49.
Now the key now, will Tulsa maintain their composure?
Powell 4 for 4 in the second half on free ones. Scott, not the greatest of ball handlers, playing back there at point guard. Brian Lloyd started the season in that position, but struggled offensively. Tracy Moore dishing for Jenkins, who couldn't hit, and Scott over the back has just fouled out. Poor shooting spawns those kind of fouls.
And Jenkins missed an easy shot, and you have to attribute that to the excitement of the moment. The ball is up that high and everybody's bouncing around for it. This type of thing can happen. It's unfortunate.
Scott fouls out with 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Brian Lloyd at the other end. Check in. Stan Albeck wanted to know what's the holdup. J.D. Barnett with his assistants, Flip Saunders and Don Zierden. Committee discussion at the other end. Anthony Manuel, 2 points on the night, averaging 13, but he's contributed in other ways. He's played some pretty tough defense on Tulsa's point guards. The Braves are hitting their free throws.
He may be having a tough night so far as the scoring is concerned, but you don't see Stan Albeck taking him out of the game. He's the leader.
Bradley now by 7. Continuing the pressure. Players on their bench up, leading the crowd. Will Tracy Moore try to do it all himself? 4:20. Lloyd for West. Really, when you look at this Tulsa team, not a lot of offensive threats out there. That's why they got to work it around a lot and look for Tracy Moore working off the pick. And that time, a turnover.
Great steal by Hawkins. A tremendous sense of anticipation that time.
Not a bad shot either. Did they give him 3? They only gave him 2. Hawkins has 28 on the night. And now a 9-point Bradley lead, biggest of the game. Three-pointer left side, James West. 58-52. Hawkins at the other end, way short.
He was hit on the arm that time. I think his release is so fast, I think sometimes the officials miss fouls on him.
Lloyd dumping it. Moore into the paint. Jump hook. Tracy Moore. 19. Just when it appeared Tulsa would fold. They get 5 unanswered points and trail by 4. Under 3 minutes remaining. Clock running past the 2:55 mark. Powell against Royster. Annual 3-point range. Powell with a pick on James West. Timeout, Bradley. Each coach has used just 1 timeout. 2:42 remaining with possession. Stan Albeck's team on top by 4.
I can't breathe.
Before and Afrin.
Better.
What Afrin does in 5 minutes takes Sudafed over an hour.
Locked.
Before and Afrin. Look for Afrin's money-saving coupon in this Sunday's paper.
Get a fully automatic 35mm Kodak camera. Free when you buy 10 rolls or more of Owens Corning's pink fiberglass insulation.
How y'all are? You know me, I've been cooking and eating real Cajun food longer than my belly stomach is wide, and that's a fact. So when I told you you're gonna like Cajun Spice Ruffles potato chips more better than them other Cajun potato chips, I'm not just whistling Dixie, no. I'm singing you a Bayou Serenade, I guarantee.
Only Cajun Spice-flavored Ruffles brand potato chips have those spicy Ruffles ridges, so the taste won't leave you flat.
When the evening breeze whispers through the trees.
USA's college basketball 88 back to the road again. Will be in Ohio at the UD Arena in Dayton. Flyers hosting the Blue Demons of DePaul. Hope you can join us Tuesday live, 8 p.m. Eastern on USA. Still a good one here, Jack. 2:42 left. Bradley by 4 with possession. Barnett has kept his team hanging around.
As long as they can stay in there and not lose all these players on fouls, hang in close, they can continue to play their game. When it becomes crucial, Bob, will be if it gets to be like a 6 or an 8-point lead down around 2 minutes, and then they can't afford to work the ball as long.
Pretty good hand there. 4 fours with an out. A lot of fouls in this one tonight. Hersey Hawkins, to update his scoring, has 29 points on the night. For Stan Albeck's Braves, trying to win their 21st game of the year, their 10th conference game. They close things out here home Saturday with Indiana State visiting. Wichita has to hope for a Tulsa win tonight, then a win at Tulsa on Saturday. Shot clock under 10. Little short. Powell got the rebound.
Bradley's really working those baseline screens now.
Royster against Powell. Away from the ball. Ryan Lloyd tumbling over the baseline, and he has fouled out.
Very disappointed young man. He got caught trying to fight over one of those screens again.
2 Tulsa players out with fouls tonight. Ryan Lloyd leaves with 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist on the night.
Well, you know, I think what is proven when you watch a game like this is that one man cannot stop Hersey Hawkins simply because it isn't a one-man effort. Because Bradley uses several players to help Hawkins, so therefore it has to be a team effort defensively also.
That's what I was talking about earlier, Jack. You look at the lineup out there. Hersey Hawkins, we all know about him. Manuel, who runs the club so well. The big banger in Powell, who also blocks shots. Right. Luke Jackson, who gets the fast break going. And then the other role players. Big Jones, who sets up some of the picks. Wilson, who can shoot the three-pointer. Thomas, the best defensive player on the team. Seems like all the ingredients are there.
And they're all willing to sacrifice themselves offensively to get the screens for Hawkins, because if they can get certain shots for Hawkins, he makes them better than anybody else, so that you're playing to win when you do something like that.
Tulsa just checked in Rod Parker, a sophomore guard out of Bellwood, Illinois. Wilson
got them all. There's a three-pointer, swished, and a timeout. James West. And I'll tell you one thing, Jack. If you hit a shot like that against Bradley, you better call a timeout in a hurry. It might be in the other basket before you can stop the play. And Tulsa was up off the bench to call it in a hurry. 3-point game, 2:08 remaining. Don't go away.
You know, there's nothing like a winner. That's why I'm driving this, the Advanced Big Ford Pickup. America's best-selling pickup for 11 straight years. And I got more for my money with this special model. It cost me over $800 less than a comparably equipped Chevy. And I really go for Ford's advanced features, like multi-port fuel-injected engines and anti-lock rear brakes. Yeah, Ford. If you don't go with a proven winner, what are you going with?
Now get $500 cash bonus on all new F-Series pickups with manual transmission.
When a hot game follows dinner, even Pat Riley can lose his cool. Not good. That's when he reaches for control. Rolaids. Rolaids Add Acid consumes all the acid required to give millions 100% relief from heartburn and acid indigestion. That way, Pat's free to let his emotions really show. Not bad. Relief. You know how to spell it.
Welcome back to the Carver Arena, part of the Peoria Civic Center, downtown Peoria, Illinois. Jack Rowe and Bob Carpenter. Bradley on top, 60-57. But every time they appear to be putting Tulsa away, the Hurricane comes back. Georgia Tech a winner tonight over Virginia, as is Temple. The Owls keep on rolling. BYU struggling a bit lately, but on top by Air Force by a bunch. And Syracuse by 18 over Providence tonight. Lou Henson did not get number 500 this evening at West Lafayette against Gene Cady's Boilermakers. J.D. Barnett. Pretty good coaching job tonight.
Yes, and he's got 4 men pressuring man-to-man and 1 man roving.
Manuel. Offensive foul in the backcourt. Rod Parker, the quickest man on the Tulsa team, not playing much lately, but described by the coaches as a little water bug who can get in front of people, did just that.
J.D. Barnett set up this press during that timeout, and it was effective. A rover plus 4 men playing man-to-man.
A three-pointer to tie it. Parker driving and drawing a foul. Hawkins the man they're pointing at. Number 3 on Hersey. Well, how about that? Rod Parker has not played at all lately. He's a 5'10 sophomore guard out of Bellwood, Illinois, Chicago area. Nothing that time. They want Wingard out of there now so that he doesn't get a 4th foul.
Well, not only that, but they want him back in case they go into the press and Bradley breaks out in a hurry. They want him.
That big man at center court is vital, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the safety.
Parker, first point of the night.
Now they'll try to double team if they can.
Parker against Manuel, interesting little matchup here. 2 players of superior quickness. 60-58 with 1:40 remaining. Wilson in for Hawkins with the jump and the score. Hersey has 31. That is the 18th time this year with 30 or more for Hawkins. Moore at the other end answers. Timeout Tulsa. Moore has a season average of 21. Missouri Valley Conference action, and it's a 2-point game.
This plant could have employed a lot of people. It could have helped us compete in foreign markets. But like 95% of the mid-sized companies in America, the company that wanted to build this plant couldn't get the bond rating it needed. So it couldn't afford to raise the capital it needed to grow. Or for that matter, survive. Since Since 1977, more than 350 companies have been able to fund their growth with the help of high-yield bonds financed by Drexel Burnham. Today, those companies employ over 2 million people, proof that innovative thinking is not just good for business, but for everyone. Drexel Burnham, helping people manage change.
Well, they're not dancing the victory dance yet here in Peoria. They've been on the verge of it a couple of times, but Tulsa with good shooting by Tracy Moore. And a little bit earlier from James West, long range, hanging in there. It's 62-60 with a lot of time left, a minute 25 remaining.
And J.D. Barnett has really been using his timeouts to work. I don't know what the score is going to be, but I know one thing. He has spent a busy night over there on that bench. He's worked his head off.
Tulsa knows its regular season is lost. Right now, they're thinking about the postseason tournament in this building. You folks who may be tuning in at this hour, waiting to see Jan Michael Vincent, Ernest Borgnine and company aboard Airwolf. It will follow in its entirety on USA. With Jack Rowe and Bob Carpenter in Peoria. As we pass the top of the hour, this one still very much up for grabs. They clear Hawkins for the inbound pass from Paul Wilson. Backcourt, Parker on Manuel. Parker falls, gets back up as Manuel continues to feed to Hersey Hawkins. Tracy Moore has to play some defense now too. Hawkins, look at him weave his way through. 33 for Double H, and a 4-point lead for the home team. Under a minute now. Tulsa with one timeout remaining. Hawkins blocks Moore. Thomas with the slam. Hersey Hawkins, unbelievable defense after the great offense. 6-point lead. Tulsa's got to score and call a timeout. They're looking for more. Now West. Dumping it down for Parker. A lot of time being wasted here. Turnover. This game is over now. Thomas. Blocked there by Wade Jenkins. Under 15 seconds left. On the floor. Guess who? Jack, you really have to marvel at the talents of Hersey Hawkins at both ends of the floor. Paul Wilson doing the job defensively that time. Tulsa uses its final timeout.
I marvel at his ability, but I also admire most the way he will take over when the game is close. He made all the big plays at the end.
Bradley leads it by 6, 66-60. And tonight's game here in Peoria, brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Drexel Burnham, helping people manage change. And by Rolaids, the antacid that millions rely on, use only as directed. 10 seconds left, Bradley by 6.
I talked about how hard J.D. Barnett has worked. It's noticeable because he's had to try to do so many things to maneuver the score. There's Hawkins again. Now that one was, he's just a little bit careless on that. I think he was hit. But you know, this has been a tough night for Stan Alback too. He's had that clipboard out a lot because the things have never really flowed. He's going to come out of this, as you do as a coach, with a win. So you're happy you've won, but you know that you could have played better, so there's a lot of work to be done in the next practice.
Bradley about to go 21-4. With a record of 10-2 in the Valley with a win here tonight, they would take a half-game lead over Wichita. There's what we have left for you on USA. We'll visit Dayton twice. We'll see the Blue Demons there. Big game in the Southwest Conference coming up next week. Arkansas at Houston. The Razorbacks and the Cougars, and then Miami of Florida. The Hurricanes heading north to visit the Flyers. Hersey Hawkins tonight. 33 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Stan Albeck will really miss him a year from now, won't he?
Oh, my goodness.
We'll have a few of them back, but not number 33. James West has just fouled out. 1 second off the clock.
But you know, with the way that Stan Albeck has devised offensives to take advantage of this talented player, right now there may be young people who are really outstanding basketball players who think, I might like to play in a system like that because he features the star. You also have to have very, very strong backup players like young Mr. Powell on the foul line right now. He is willing to go to the backboard.
And remember, Hersey Hawkins was a young man uncertain about his future when Dick Versace was told to leave Bradley. And then a new coach coming in Stan Albeck. Stan Albeck gave him free rein, maybe even a little more than Dick Versace did, although Hersey was a much younger player at that time.
Well, I admire the fact that Stan Albeck knows what you have to do in order to win. There are some coaches who run systems that are so regimented that it's obvious that they're coaching. You can see, oh, there's the hand of the coach. But Stan Albeck is taking what he has here and making them win.
Donald Powell finally missing one. 67-60. Parker for 3. Short. Parker with the follow, and this one is over. 67-62. Bradley showing its poise in the second half. For the second time this year, beating Tulsa in a ball game when the score did not progress beyond the 60s. 65-62 at Tulsa a couple of weeks ago, and 67.
The word. Eddie Bird, that is. And yes, he's left.